Welcome to New England Soccer Journal's The Goal podcast, the podcast for serious soccer players and their supporters to help further their development and navigate their way throughout their soccer careers. And now, here's your host, Matt Langone.
Welcome into another episode of New England Soccer Journal's The Goal podcast. I'm your host, Matt Langone. Today, as usual, I'm joined in studio by NESJ writer Matt Doherty, and our guest will be Berkshire School Boys Soccer head coach Kelvin Martinez. Kelvin, thanks for taking the time with us.
Thank you, Matt. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you. You're the newly hired Berkshire Boys varsity coach, one of the premier programs, prep programs in New England. So I'm sure you're excited to have this job at Berkshire, but let's hear it from you. What are you looking forward to most about coaching at Berkshire?
Yeah, it's a tremendous program. Since my hiring was announced, I got in touch with all the players, and there is a level of excitement. Just a whole bunch of tremendous guys that are on that campus, and there's a fair amount of boys that are returning. So we definitely have some great talents on that roster.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. To that point, I think in terms of college committed talent for class of 2026, correct me if I'm wrong if any of these guys aren't coming back, but you have, Prince of Ampho, who's committed to Virginia.
Yes.
You got Danielle Esprit, who's committed to Penn State. Daryl Haig, who's committed to Dartmouth. So you guys are kind of loaded for next year. So that's always a good situation, I think, for a coach to come in with, have kind of that talent in stock already. What do you kind of view as the potential for the program in 2025?
Oh, it's great potential. Those guys are absolutely hungry. They are a united front. So we're coming into a culture that is a very healthy and a very stable culture. Having so many guys who are sort of like the top dogs right now returning, who have that sense of almost just wanted to complete the job that they started last year. I think that they felt that they just did not have the chance to finish it, and they are hungry to finish the job this year.
You had a smile on your face when Matt was reading off those names, which is fun to see. So what kind of drew you to the Berkshire job? Is it the prominence of the program, the players that were returning? Like, why did you decide that this was the move for you, and why now?
I've been here at Northwood for 7 years, and I wanted a situation that worked well for my family. I have 3 kids, and such a big move, it's always a full family affair.
All right.
We love that Adirondack, so we wanted something where the outdoors was something that we could continue to do. In Berkshire, it's absolutely stunningly beautiful. So as a family, the location really works. And certainly Berkshire as an institution is top notch in terms of athletically, but also academically. Eventually, I would love to send my kids to Berkshire, and it's a kind of school that I can definitely see the marriage between Berkshire and my entire family.
Kelvin, how old are your kids?
So I have a 6, 8, and 10.
Oh, nice. That'll keep you busy. So do they play soccer as well, or?
They play big time. They train every single morning. They get themselves up. It's amazing.
Wow.
I was not that disciplined when I was 8 or 10.
No, I'm still not that disciplined, I don't think. I don't know that I could do that.
So you didn't have to move, like you're staying where you were before.
Correct.
Nice. Okay, that's a good perk for the kids too, right? Not having to pack up and move somewhere new.
You mentioned the outdoor stuff too. What do you guys enjoy doing? Do you guys like to hike, or what do you guys into for outdoors?
Yeah. The family loves hiking, mountain biking, anything in the outdoors. My kids are out there climbing trees. They're outdoorsy kids.
Nice.
Berkshire last season, the 2024 season was one of our, in our rankings throughout the season, was top 3, top 4 team throughout the season. They got to the NEPSAC tournament. They were the 2 seed, but they lost that first round game due to a forfeit. I believe it was an ineligible player. But they're going to be in the conversation, I would think, in Class A again this year in 2025 for, the short list of contenders. So that I guess, I mean, take it for what it's worth, but I guess you could say there's some pressure coming into the season in terms of New England soccer, of what's expected from Berkshire. How do you and the players approach this season? And also, because of what happened, because of having that forfeit in the first round last year, that's probably a sour taste for some of these guys. What's kind of the mindset going in?
It's a very healthy mindset. These guys are the most important thing for them is how united they are. And that's what led for them to be successful last year and continuing that united front. For these guys, they don't feel the pressure they're not in talking with all of them, they don't feel pressure. They feel a sense of joy. This is their last year together for a lot of these guys. So we have a decent amount of seniors that are returning. And this is their last. They've been together for a couple of years, and they really just want to enjoy this last year together, and go as far as they can go, unlike last year. So it's going to be a season of hard work, a season of joy, and hopefully a season of completion for them.
What's your mindset heading into this job? Like, what do you say to the players, and what's sort of the vision of the program that you want to build, and how do you implement that right off the bat?
So one of the things that I did for this coming class is I went young, so I recruited mostly younger guys. The reason for that is because we have such a talented, but also an older returning core. So the mindset is, you guys are the leaders of this program, and I'm bringing in several very talented young guys, and you guys are the mentors of them. So we want to create a longevity to the program in terms of the culture, in terms of the quality as well. But really, these returning seniors, they are the core. They are the guys who are going to really set the culture and mentor the new guys that are coming in. So we're looking at the program for this year, and we're looking at the program for the following year. We have a 5-year landscape in terms of how we view in the program, and these guys are all on board for it.
Berkshire is a household name, I think, in prep soccer throughout the country. I mean, 5 Class A championships between 2012 and 2018, I believe, was the stretch. So it was just a dominant stretch of soccer at Berkshire. Been in the mix since then as well, post-COVID. How would you kind of sum up the tradition of the Berkshire program, what it means to play for Berkshire, and kind of the future, carrying on that tradition, how you want to carry on that tradition?
One of the words that come up to me is, when I'm on campus and folks talk about Berkshire soccer, it's the program almost represents what the school represents. High level character. So there's almost an expectation that the soccer guys will be high level guys, high character guys, and leaders, not just within the program, but also within the whole school. So there's been a great tradition in terms of what the program needs for the entire institution and who those guys are. That's really a big part of what we are striving to continue in terms of that legacy. We know that on the field, these guys are going to be tremendous. They're going to perform, and it's going to be fun to watch them play. But it's the off the field stuff. That's what really builds. That's what really defines those guys.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like, especially at prep schools, I feel like you have that strong blend of academics and athletics, and I think the kids really love that about it. In terms of on the field, like, how do you like the game to flow? Like, what's your playing style, and is it going to be different than how Berkshire played last year? Like, what's kind of your philosophies on the field?
Yeah, we're going to be, we have the depth now to, last year, the roster was not as deep as the program had wanted it to be. But this year we have added an increased amount of depth to the program, so which would allow us to be a much more dynamic and high pressing team. that really sets and controls tempos from the beginning of games. So that's we heading towards a program that really sets the tempo of games. That recovers the ball, that plays, that maintains a high level of possession, that tries to play the game as much as possible on the team's third. And we have the guys certainly to do that, but we have a depth in our bench that allows for guys to come into the game and the level just doesn't drop. And so that's going to be a new thing for us to have this year.
So what coaching at Northwood, you mainly worked with the U17 and the U19 teams, right? Is that correct? Yeah. What was that experience like coaching at Northwood, for the residential academy and kind of helping those programs reach national prominence? How much of what you did there will translate over to what you're going to do at Berkshire?
Oh, a lot. There's a great deal of, they're similar in the sense that they're all very committed players. Northwood we have brought in an incredible amount of talent over the last 7 years since I've been here. Guys at the highest level, colleges, pros, and the level of commitment that these guys have to the game and the love that they have for it and the passion and just how hard they work. It's so working with that level of players for the past 7 years, it's a seamless transfer to me. It's the level will remain very similar in a way.
Can you touch upon kind of your upbringing with the game? How early in life did you kind of fall in love with soccer and kind of your playing history and take us through kind of your developmental stage in soccer?
Yeah, so I'm from Honduras, and like any Honduran kid, before you have any pair of shoes, you have a pair of cleats.
And walking around in cleats all the time. Doesn't matter.
And for those who don't have cleats and don't have balls, you make shift a ball. You create a ball out of duct tape and socks and you got anything round and you have that around with you. But interesting enough, I came to the U.S. Through a similar process that a lot of my players come through. I went to NMH, Northfield Herman School, and as a freshman, I played 4 years on the varsity team there, and that was very different for me. That was my first time playing outside of Honduras, and Honduras, I was so used to how technical the game is, whereas when I got to America, I had to incorporate the technical part also with the physical part. It's a much more physically aggressive game. So I had to adjust myself, but I'm glad because that prepared me for college. So I ended up going to Union College, and that was a tremendous experience for us. The team was just in the build-up phase. When I first came in, my class, we brought in about 12 freshmen, and that's that class that really took Union to the next level. Ended up leading the league in score, leading Union score there when I was there, and it was a great fun. After Union, I had the chance of go back home and playing pro, but I also had a chance to get a PhD. So now I was in a predicament to go home and play professional soccer or stay here and get a PhD. I've had several players in my family go pro, but certainly no one has gone on to receive a PhD. So I made a decision to stay and pursue that route.
That's interesting. So you chose kind of the path that no one in your family had chose. You kind of went the other way and got the PhD and went away from the program.
Correct.
Any regrets on that? Were you cool with all that? How all that turned out? I mean, obviously it's worked out for you, but were there any regrets along the way?
I have to say, I've thought about this several times. I think that I actually would have gone the pro route.
Really?
How?
Because I just think that just in terms of the body, certainly I can't do it right now, but I can certainly go ahead and and get another PhD right now. If I
Right.
want.
Right. You have that short window to
Yes.
play.
Yeah, I don't regret my decision at all. At all. I am absolutely blessed with how everything has worked out. But I certainly would have done it differently, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
What made you then get into coaching? Like how did that all come about, and how did you start your coaching career, and kind of how was that path taking you to Berkshire?
Yeah, so the game, I just love the game. The game for me has always served as a vehicle. It was the game of soccer that took me out of Honduras. It's a game of soccer that I wanted to use as a vehicle to create opportunities and open doors for players just like myself from a country like Honduras, which could be a tough country. So the game for me has always meant a vehicle to coach, to mentor, to open doors. So I started coaching when I was doing my doctorate in Albany, and then but really I really got into it when I came to New York City. So immediately after I finished, I went to New York City and I started working at the Riverdale Country School, and I was coaching there. First started as a JV coach, and then I moved up to varsity. Won a state championship there. Also got into the local tribal team as well. And then that was really what set me off for coaching Riverdale Country School and the tribal team coaching as well.
And now you were recently in Honduras, building a soccer academy there. So it's clear that your Honduran roots are still close to you. I mean, you're still going back. You're still like helping to the development of the game in your home country. What was that like, building that soccer academy? Is that something you had done before there?
No, so I founded the academy last summer, and I could remember the first time that we arrived and we bought 100 pair of cleats with us. And we started at a community where there is no running, there's no electricity, no roads, and most kids have never even seen a pair of cleats.
Wow.
And it's 100 kids with one ball that's torn apart. And we bought in 50 balls and 100 pair of cleats. And I can tell you, when we opened those barrels and these kids saw those cleats, it was just their eyes just lit up. It was the most incredible moment. And then for these guys to be training like a professional academy. They had never seen cones, balls, cleats. They've never seen any of that stuff that we start taking for granted. And but now it's a part of their norm now. And the gratitude that I get from that they have, it's something that can be put into words.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's got to feel good to give back to your home community and see the eyes light up, like you said. That's incredible. That's going to be great.
Yes, absolutely.
Is that something you want to keep doing moving forward, and what does that look like?
Yeah, so we have the academy is now functioning at 2 locations,
Nice.
and we have 5 locations that we're gonna expand to. And it's working with the local coaches, so training the coaches, making sure that they have the resources that they need. Also, I'm creating a lot of connections with second and third division professional teams to ensure that these guys have a pathway to achieve the professional levels in Honduras as well. So I'm in constant communication with those. Also with the national team youth pool. We have sufficient talent that we think that we have some guys that can really step up to those levels. So it's a life-changing thing for these young guys that are in the academy right now.
How important is the international students, bringing those international students into the game at these NEPSAC schools, particularly Berkshire and a lot of the others? You mentioned you played at Northfield Mount Herman. So there's always an international influence in New England prep soccer. And how important is it to find those players and the opportunities that are presented to a lot of these players?
Oh, tremendous. absolutely tremendous. And you know, the campus changes, the whole atmosphere on campus changes with what those players bring. Certainly the flair on the field. Here at Northwood, it was unbelievable. At one point, we had about 22 countries on a roster. That is unbelievable.
Yeah, it is.
You know, it's an unusual experience that these guys will never forget. But also what they brought to the campus. I don't think this campus will ever be the same without those type of players, those type of human beings and student athletes on campus.
Right. It's almost like I mean, you see a little bit of that in college, but it's such a great thing for kids 16, 17, 18 to be exposed to all different cultures and all different types of people. I mean, I think it's got to just make for a really great camaraderie with a team. I mean, once having all those players together.
Oh, it's a once in a lifetime experience.
Yeah.
At these guys. I was fortunate to have that at NMH, so it was good to come back into it and build that as well.
For sure.
Some of my closest friends were definitely guys from all over the world, and that was, and I'm still really, really close with those guys.
Do you have anyone this year that you brought in the last couple months from other countries? Like, did you kind of go through that whole process with Berkshire already?
Oh yeah, no, we just signed a kid from Dubai, and
Nice.
man, he came over, and you know, it wasn't even cold when he came up.
Yeah.
And he said, "Coach, is it this cold here?" I'm like, "Dude, it's not even cold."
You know what's funny?
It's a November game.
You know what's funny, Kelvin? I'll actually, I'll get emails sometimes from parents across the world, students across the world that will ask me, "What do you know about this school? What do you know about that school?" I'm looking, and I'm like, I didn't attend the school, so I don't really want to speak for the school, but it's amazing. It always impressed me. I said it to my wife the other day. I looked at an email and I'm like, this email's from wherever asking me about what I think of this school. Like, this is these schools attract players from all over the world.
Matt, don't tell yourself short.
I mean, I don't know what I don't, it's far be it for me to speak about it to, one school more than the other, but like, it is I'm always impressed by just the scope of what these schools do across the world. I mean, how these schools in New England that, might not seem like anything more than just, it's a school in New England. What's the big deal? They're attracting kids from all over the world, which is unbelievable.
Still you win.
Yeah.
Going off that, like the kid from Dubai, like how did that come about? Like, did he find you guys or are you finding him? Like, how do you even find a player in Dubai?
Well, it was interesting actually. So with him, he had looked at a different program. He had looked at IMG in Shattuck St. Mary in Minnesota. And then he started getting deeper into researching the institutions and then getting a sense of, well, okay, the soccer is great, the facility is great. Now let me get a sense of the academics as well. These families have a certain level of standard that they want academically.
Yeah.
And these schools in New England do a tremendous job of really bringing both. Level soccer, but also such high level academics. A school like NMH, a school like Berkshire, they just bring that. And so that's the thing that they wanted more of. And that's how they connected with me. What are the schools that have this just household names in terms of soccer, but also where I can look at the curriculum and say, man, this is really strong curriculum wise, really strong academic wise. And that's how I started talking to the dad of this player.
Think about that. So you said that student was also looking at IMG, right? And that down in Florida, which is a beautiful, beautiful facilities, beautiful weather, and Berkshire gets the nod over IMG. That's impressive to me. That speaks volumes about what the school can offer. Before we get to extra time, though, Kelvin, I want to just ask you, what's kind of you mentioned there's not really necessarily, like, pressure is not the right word coming into the 2025 season, but what expectation do you have going into this season? I mean, the talent's there. You're an experienced coach. The ingredients seem to be there. So what's kind of I don't expect you to sit here and say championship or bust, but what's kind of like your expectation going into it?
No, I think these guys, my expectation is to build a beautiful brand of football that is going to be enjoyable to watch, enjoyable to be a part of, to really have a holistic journey from day one, from the minute we step on this campus for our preseason, where the guys are really together and really, really go as far as we can in terms of football. I think that we certainly have the talent and then the skill level to really be in the talk. But more importantly, really just this is truly a year that we're gonna really enjoy the season. We truly are going to enjoy this season, and it's gonna be fun watching Berkshire. Anyone that comes to a Berkshire game, they're gonna enjoy watching those games.
It will be fun. And also what will be fun is, I like that segue there, David. What will be fun is extra time with David Yaz here. He's going to hit us with 3 random, we say goofy questions from the soccer world, and Kelvin has agreed to participate. So we'll see what David has up his sleeve for today.
All right.
It's the end of regulation, so let's move to extra time.
Pretty good segue there, man.
Decent.
Not
That
too
was
bad.
good,
Decent. Not bad for fresh off
You
vacation.
might have a future in podcast. I'll check it out. All right. Extra time is when I lob 3 questions the way of all 3 of our panelists here. They're unprepared for these questions. There are no right answers unless I decide differently on the spot and throw you from the competition. But, well, you know what you got to do. And Kelvin, you get to go first. This is going to be the fill-in-the-blank version of extra time. So, first question is as follows. I wish more kids understood that soccer is really about blank. I wish more kids understood that what soccer is blank. And it doesn't have to be one word. You could do with the phrase or whatever you want. So go ahead, Kelvin. What do you say?
The soccer was about self-expression. It is bringing your whole self, who you are, your family, your whole history, your whole upbringing to the game.
Wow, I don't know how you guys are going to top that. I really.
Question.
I just crumbled up the paper that I have my answer on and threw it away. I don't know what
Well,
No,
yeah.
Matt Langoni, give it a shot anyways.
Now we're talking about when I hear kids, my kids are young, so like,
Well,
like,
young
yeah.
people, whatever.
yeah, like I would what I said to my kids when they were first playing soccer when they were young is that I mean, it's so simple, but like the goal scorer isn't necessarily why the goal happened. I mean, soccer is the ultimate team concept where, you know, there might be a player that taps it in and gets the glory, and every kid sees that and wants that glory. And every kid when they're young just wants to be a striker and a goal scorer and score goals and be that kid. But like everything that led up to it is why the goal happened. And it's the ultimate, like what's the phrase? The sum is greater. What is it? The sum
is greater than the parts.
Yeah, like the sum is greater than the parts. I mean, it's the ultimate connection game where you need 11 players connected.
The whole is greater than the sum of the parts.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
I love that.
No, wait.
I love
I think you're right. I think that is it. I think that is it. But that's the sentiment I'm trying to get out, is that it's you know, baseball is funny because, like, you know, a player can go 4 for 4 and the team can lose and the player can be like, I had a great day. Team didn't do anything, but I was 4 for 4 with 3 doubles and a triple. I mean, but soccer, like, it takes all 11. I mean, you're not at its highest level, you're not going to see a player break down 11 other players and score a goal. Very rarely will you see that. So you need that. You need to understand that you're totally reliant on your teammates. You need them. They need you. It's just, that's what the game is.
You kind of took my answer, but like I was going to say
Good
something
say.
about
Kelvin took my answer, so I
no,
he didn't.
expression.
He didn't.
No, I was going to say something like teamwork. I think that's the biggest thing, especially to young players. But I was going to kind of tie it into other sports too, where it's you know, more individually focused, whereas soccer isn't. And I think, you know, even like games that I watch in the club season, like when a team wins, just the joy they show to their teammates of, wow, like we all did this together. I think that's a beautiful part of the sport. So that would be teamwork.
Excellent answers all around. I should have saved that question for last. The rest of these questions are just garbage. Now, all right. Question number 2 will go around the horn the other way. So, Matty D, you're up first.
Hit me.
The hardest thing about playing goalie is blank.
Nothing. I'm just kidding.
The hardest thing about playing goalie is blank.
penalty kicks, but no, that's a cheap answer.
Please take it.
Decisiveness, I think, is the hardest part about being a goalie, of like when to come off your line, when to take control of a corner or a volley into the box. I think, you just have to be in command, and I think that's hard, especially for younger keepers to like really dominate the net in the box. Like I played a little goalie growing up, and it was like, should I go out for this ball or should I stay here? Like, it's just, you have to be really decisive with your decisions. And I think that makes it hard.
A moment of indecision will kill you, right?
And yeah. And that pressure, like, a lot of the times 1 or 2 saves changes the outcome of a game. So it's like that one moment, that one save is kind of what you're defined for, but the game's 90 minutes long, and it's like that one moment is what it is.
Matt L., your thoughts?
That's a good one. I've always said that why I was never a good goalie, or many reasons why I was never a good goalie and why I didn't play goalie, is just knowing when to come out and cut off angles and all that stuff. But that's the physical part. But I think the mental toughness is the biggest thing for a goalkeeper. If a midfielder gets burnt by an opposing player with a great individual move, they beat him, they get by him. But then, theoretically, there's a back there to step up and stop it. If a goalie gets burnt, the ball's in the net and it's 1-0. And the keeper has to learn to forget about that one and move on to the next one, and understand that, like, he's not the reason we lost 1-0. I'm the reason we lost. No, you're not, because it goes back to the thing we said in the last question is like, no, if the goal happened, then probably the 10 other players on the field let you down also, and they allowed that. I mean, there are moments, let's be real. There are moments where the keeper makes a mistake, and it maybe is at fault for a goal. But, you have to have that mental strength where, okay, I let one in, on to the next one. Because it's tough. You're covering an enormous net by yourself, and there's going to be goals that get by you. And I just think that mental strength is what separates great keepers from good keepers, and good keepers from not good keepers.
Kelvin, hardest thing about being a goalie is blank.
Yeah, it's actually Matt's answer. I think that walk to the back of the net, that 3 feet walk, feels like an eternity for these guys. The ball goes to the back of the net. It's only 3 feet and only about a second, and it just felt like it was so long.
Right.
How quickly they can recover from that and stay grounded again on what the mission is. That is the hardest thing. But if they can do that, you got to rock.
Right. It's lonely. I mean, you're the only player wearing gloves.
It must be the loneliest feeling on earth, because you feel like your teammates don't want to be with you because you think because you left them
You're
down.
wearing a different shirt. You're wearing gloves. You're walking in to pick up the ball. It's like you're the only one who can use their hands. Like you're the only player on a soccer field that's on an island doing something different than everyone else. So it's like it's a lonely position as it is, and like your job is like, okay, my job's to prevent goals. If I give up a goal, crap, I didn't do my job. And then it's like, can you move past it?
Yeah. I mean, literally no room for error, really.
Right.
I mean, you can, of course, give up a goal and still win and have a great game, but the goal, no pun intended, is zero, right?
Right.
All right. Final question for extra time. And Kelvin, we'll start with you. When I hear someone complain that soccer is boring, it makes me blank. Someone complains that soccer is boring. It makes me hopefully not commit a capital offense, but it makes me blank. Kelvin, your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, it makes me realize that they definitely have never played a game. It's impossible to think of soccer as a boring sport if you have trained, if you have played it, and yes, the joy that comes with soccer. Not just in this country, but in the whole world. Every child throughout the entire planet has a sense of joy, where this is the only thing sometimes that brings joy, that brings any satisfaction, that brings smiles. And it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. You can bond with someone over this. So hearing someone talk about it just makes me realize, okay, you have no idea.
In Europe and other places in the world, people gather en masse in restaurants and bars and homes to sit around and watch a soccer match that can go for hours and be, a 1-0 game or a 0-0 game.
Yeah.
Kelvin, do you think? And they're glued to it; they love it. And in America, there's some of that, but certainly not as much. We're shallow Americans. We need basketball game to be 164 to 162. But Kelvin, do you think because it's more of the fabric of sort of life in Europe and other parts, in other words, the kids are brought up on soccer and so they've played it and so they're grown to love it, and that's why it then becomes a great spectator sport as well, if that makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's amazing. You can have 3 generations of people in the same household, and they're all experiencing the game the same exact way. The grandpa, the dad, the child. There's no difference in the way that they experience in the game. It truly brings communities together. And sometimes the game itself can save lives, literally save lives. That's how powerful the game is.
Well, these guys behind the desk, they look angry too when they hear that someone says soccer is boring. When you hear someone plays soccer is boring, you what?
I get annoyed, and for really the same reason that Kelvin just said. I mean, you've never heard anybody who's played soccer isn't going to say it's boring. So if you're saying it's boring, you never played it, and you don't even understand. Like, people don't even understand how difficult it. I said this probably a trillion times on this podcast. How difficult it is to play a sport primarily with your feet. You're not using your hands. That the coordination, the athleticism that you have to send a ball 60 yards down the field, hit someone on stride, like, put the perfect bend, put the perfect loft on that ball with somebody charging you, with somebody like anyone who says boring can't comprehend. It's the same thing I would say to somebody who thinks golf is boring. There's people who also think golf is boring who have never golfed before. Right. Try golfing and then tell me it's boring, because it's not boring. When you see what these guys, like, I used to be that person when I was a kid. My dad would watch golf. I'd say, why are you watching this? This is terrible. Then I started playing in my teenage years and getting into it a little bit. Now I'm like, I love watching it. And is it slow? Yep. But like, appreciate what has to be done in these sports and realize the difficulty of what they're doing, and you'll appreciate it. And soccer is also fast. It's physical at the highest level. It's incredible, and that crowd environment's phenomenal. So for anybody to say that is just, all right, you don't like the sport, I get it, but like, it's definitely not boring.
All right, but compared to soccer, golf is boring, right?
No, totally.
We didn't come here to bury golf.
I'm a huge golf guy, so I take it.
All right.
I work in soccer, and I like golf and baseball. Those are 3 of the slower sports. Right. So maybe, going off that, I think I would tell, when someone says that, I would tell them, you don't have patience. Like, I think soccer is a game of patience, where even like starting this job and going through it, it's like the buildup of a game is very exciting. And I think, like, the game I was at the other day, it was like 2-0, then 2-2, and then someone scored in the last minute. It's like, wow, this is a thrilling second half. And if you watch the first 10 minutes, you might be like, yeah, not a lot is happening, but let it play out. Let the game build out. I think, especially in America, we have very short attention spans, and we need action right away, and we need things happening right away. And there are things happening in soccer, but you also have to, like, let it play out, have some patience, and appreciate the
nuance.
Not the immediate thing.
There's the amount of times I've watched a soccer match with people who are just watching it, in a bar, or having a couple of beers in my house watching a game. Why are they passing backwards? Why are they going backwards? It's like, well, as long as they have possession, the other team's not scoring. The game is about possession and control, and like, it's all building to something. And it's just like, you have to just watch it, and like,
it's like a television show.
Not fly off the handle because it's why are they passing backwards?
I was gonna say, this is probably a clumsy analogy, but I do get annoyed when I love like a TV show or something and recommend it, and people go, nah, way too slow for me. And so you take like some people just want Mission Impossible, which is, I love Mission Impossible, but it's from the opening shot, someone's jumping out of a plane onto a motorcycle or whatever. And then, I saw a show last year on Netflix, Ripley, which is just fascinating show. But it is a slow burn. Yeah. People are like, boring, couldn't get into it. It's like, and I do get angry. It's like, you did. So I think it's almost like you're seeing a story unfold in a game of soccer, right?
Right. Totally. That might be the best analogy because it's true. You need to watch it unfold.
It's an even
on the back. I mean, it's a 90-minute story that's being told, and it's not gonna all happen in the first minute. I mean, rarely are you gonna see a goal in the first minute of a soccer game.
Kelvin, did you want to add to that?
No, I love that. I love that analogy. Story. It is a story.
Yeah.
Okay.
So have patience.
Okay.
That's what you tell them.
Okay. I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, we're on minute 40, so you're a patient person, so you appreciate
Sure.
that's what podcasting is about.
Every minute was riveting, though.
All
It was-
hours. If you're listening to this
that's
story.
true.
Yeah.
It was a car chase from the beginning. Well, excellent job, all three of you, on Extra Time. Round of applause for all you. And back to you, Matt, to wrap things up.
Really good ones, David, today. You nailed it with that analogy. Stole the show at the end. Might even been a better response than Kelvin's first response,
I
which
have to
was
start rippling now.
Go on.
no, great stuff as always. And Kelvin, thanks for joining us. Really, really good stuff from you. Enjoyed talking to you a lot, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you a lot more because we got, believe it or not, prep season's just a few months away. Really, I mean, we're almost May is about here, and man. This years are going by fast.
Before you know it, preseason will be here. Absolutely.
That's right. Well, thanks again to Kelvin Martinez for joining the podcast. I'm Matt Langoni. Thanks for listening. New England Soccer Journal's The Goal podcast is produced by David Yaz and is a Siemens Media production.
You've been listening to New England Soccer Journal's The Goal podcast. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to our podcast. Or visit anysoccerjournal.com/podcast. Siemens Media. Inspiring, informative, insightful.